So here I am at Queener Farm, close to Staton, about half an hour east of Salem, and I'm transplanting some onions today. You know, it's always an interesting meditation moving into this work, earthwork, which is what Nobby Brown called it. I think one of the great and seminal understandings of what you might call the new intelligence is that it takes kind people to raise kind food. You can see this relationship between an awakened consciousness and conscious food production going way back in terms of the psychogeography of American counterculture. When I first arrived in Oregon 20 years ago, entirely new to this green-blooded world, one of the things that I first noticed was that wherever there was a pocket of illuminated and illuminating consciousness somewhere in the States, it was being fed by organic farms. This makes complete ontological sense, of course. It all adds up. It's what the religios would call intelligent design. We might think of the step into the advance into the new creation, into the new paradigm, into the new intelligence, the new way of living, is fundamentally an acceptance of the fact that we are co-evolutionary creatures, that we all partake of one breath, one experience, one planet, each other, and certainly the ground, the earth beneath our feet, and the intelligence that lives within all of it. So when we start to move towards the stewardship of food crops at a deeper level, at a more fundamental level, one of the things we begin to do is steward ourselves and these crops together in the image of a deeper integrity, a deeper ecological integrity, an E with a capital E. We are, after all, contained within the ecology of the earth ourselves. I've always liked to say that Jefferson would have said that integrity grows from and blends with the land. So these mushrooms, for example, these onions that I'm putting in today have an interesting story. The variety is called Newburgh, and they were developed by Dr. Alan Capula, who we've long considered sort of the granddaddy almost of the holistic plant breeding movement. I think he was the youngest ever PhD graduate at Yale, a double PhD. Molecular biology and plant science, and was essentially on a fast track was on the Nobel track before he dropped out and headed into the Oregon woods to establish essentially what we think of as the beginnings of the plant breeding movement with Gabriel. They started a company, I think, called the Stonebroke Hippie Seed Company, which became the foundation, their seed collection became the foundation for the collection that Seeds of Change picked up. Seeds of Change, essentially the first major company devoted to organic, open-pollinated seed, though it's since lost its way somewhat. This variety is interesting in the sense that it represents an advanced approach to plant breeding where we can actually hack the corporate genome, the same way, for example, that hackers can hack computer software, by essentially taking a form, a set of behaviors locked into a corporate embrace and freeing them into an open pollinated co-evolving context. So this onion Newburgh was originally, in essence, a locked down corporate hybrid. And Dr. Capula took this variety and freed it from that embrace, and of course rolled in some new and finer genetics, and has essentially established a stable open pollinated line that to all intents and purposes represents the finest storage onion, open pollinated storage onion we have at our disposal in the Pacific Northwest. I could speak a bunch more to that topic, but I think I've already been going on enough already. I'm going to be transplanting Newburgh today. We already got to a bed yesterday, preparing another bed for planting today. Essentially, one of the things that we do with this planting is we're not simply growing onions to eat through the winter. We're establishing a population, a local land race, that we will carry on forward locally, hopefully through the years. Giving this neighbourhood here the capacity and ability to become self-sustaining in onion storage and effective onion storage production, where the vast majority of storage onions lack that capacity fundamentally. In fact, they're designed from the ground up genetically to be incapable of doing that. This is all part and parcel of what it means to move into a sustainable universe. A higher sanity, one that's reflected in a deeper authenticity and ecological integrity, one that ultimately means that it takes kind people to grow kind food.